interview today. So could you brief about your professional experience?
Okay, so I am a student. I am currently in the fourth year of my college life.
Mm-hmm.
My college is going to be a 5 year, and therefore, I am currently preparing for my interviews of internship. I'll
Mm-hmm.
be sitting for internships this year, and
Okay.
I already have calls from Google, Facebook, and Goldman Sachs. So my Goldman Sachs, like all the three interviews will be like in within 20 days from today,
Mm-hmm.
and I am preparing for that. Uh,
Okay. That sounds good. So could you tell me about one thing that you have done in last year which you are most proud of?
uh, like there was a college project in
Mm-hmm.
my during for my course. There we are playing that we have to make a student discussion portal,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and there was a team of three and we built that from scratch, and we received very good remarks for that. We made it like quite good, that which can even be used for our college, so something like that. I was very happy with that project.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And how do you rate your programming skills in a
Uh,
particular
So
programming
basically,
language? So what language do you
basically
use?
I code in C++,
Mm-hmm.
and I have been coding in that language since more than 3 years.
So how
And
do you rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10?
if I have to rate on scale of 1 to 10, something around 7 or 8.
Okay. So what do you take for you to go to say 9 or 10,
Uh,
which
like
will be very high by the way?
So the thing is there are many STLs in C++, and
Mm-hmm.
I am not comfortable with all of them. Like there are some things which I know that they are present there, but I haven't used them, and I am not
Mm-hmm.
very comfortable with them. So
Okay.
that's why I don't want to rate myself very high.
Mm-hmm.
And
Okay.
also the
Fair
thing is
enough.
I am not very comfortable with the object oriented language. I don't code much in that.
Mm-hmm.
I have been coding, but I cannot say that I am very comfortable with that.
Okay. Okay. Fair enough. So let's proceed forward on the questions. So I'm going to just type the questions there on the interviewing, and I'm going to put an example there. So given an array of integer, right? You need to find a subarray which adds to that given number. So in this example, if you have these set of numbers, right, your output would be these three, 4, and 5, right, which sums up to 12.
Okay. Uh, so I have to return the subarray. So I have to return the indexes,
Yeah,
or okay.
you need to return the longest subarray, basically, or the largest, I should say,
Okay.
largest subarray, which adds to that given number. You don't need to return indexes, you need to return that subarray itself.
Okay, the values itself. Okay.
Exactly.
So what happens if there are more than one largest subarray? Like there are two subarrays of same length and both of them are the largest.
You can return the first one. That's fine.
I can return the first one.
Hmm.
Uh, and the length of the subarray is at least one, or can this subarray be empty?
It could be one. It can't be empty, right? Because
Uh,
even if a
One.
sum is zero, right, you would have, maybe if you have an element zero, you can return that.
So the first thing which I am thinking is
Uh-huh.
checking all the subarrays. Like I'll divide them. I'll find all the subarrays. So that will be something like O of n square, like two loops to find all the subarrays, and I'll take the sum, find the sum of all the subarrays, and I'll check whether the sum of them is equal to the given target or not.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so that is something like for the first index, I'll find all
Okay.
the subarrays that start from that index. So it will be for one, it will be a simple one, and then 1, 2, and then 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5,
Mm-hmm.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So these are all the subarrays which start from index 0, and I'll find the sum of all of them, and I'll check whether they are equal to target or not. And if they are
Mm-hmm.
equal to target, I'll check that do I already have an answer, and if I already have an answer, I'll just check that whether the length of new answer is greater than the previous answer or not. and only if the length of new answer is greater than the previous answer, I'll update my answer. And I'll
Okay.
continue this for all the subarrays which start from 2 and then for 3 and then for 4 and then for 5 and 6, something like this. So like after I've seen all the subarrays, I'll know that, yeah, this is my answer. So
Mm-hmm.
this is like a brute force approach. The time
Okay.
complexity of this is O of n square with
Mm-hmm.
constant space. So like, do you want me to go ahead with this or should I try for something more optimal?
Can you optimize it?
Okay, sure. Let me think. Uh, so basically, I want to find the sum of a given subarray. I'm thinking if I can somehow convert this into prefix sum, will that help me in any way? So does this array contain negative integers or only positive?
It can contain negative
It
integers.
can contain negative
Yeah.
integers. Okay.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, like, I'm just wondering, what if I convert this into prefix sum? So this will look something like this. So now it has been converted into this, and I want to find a target.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say that I wanted a target of 12. So once I reach 15, so this 15 is not target. So what I want to do is I want to find, like, have I seen something like 15 minus target? So 15 minus target will be equals to 15 minus 12, that is 3. And I have already seen this, like this 3 I have already seen. This is like I am storing all the things which I have seen in a hash map.
Okay.
So I know that I have already seen this 3. So since I have already seen this 3, I know that yes, this target of 12 is achievable from the index of 3 to index of 15. So the index
What
of 3 was 1
what if there
and
are
the index of,
two threes in there?
yeah, the thing is like since I want the longest subarray, so
Mm-hmm.
let's say that there was 2 3, something like this. So my initial let's say the initial this was something like this. So in this, the like when I convert this into a one, three, sorry, 1 3 3, yeah. So like once I convert this into prefix sum, it will look something like this, the
Mm-hmm.
prefix sum. So like I can see that there are two threes. So I'll be using a map. So the map will something like map of sum equals to index, and I update this map only once. So I update this only for the first 3, not for the second 3, because I want to find the longest length. So like I only need to update for the first time. Uh, So
Okay.
what I'm saying is like map of 1 will become index 0, map of 3 will become index 1, and then I see another 3 and 3 is already in the map, so I don't update this map. And then map of 6 will become uh, 3, map of 10 will become something like this. And once I reach 15, I'll see that whether 15 minus the target which I want to find is present in this map or not. And since yes, this is present, so I know the index of 15, I know the index of 15 minus target in my map. I can just check this in the map and I'll get this. So I'll just subtract them, and if I already have an answer, I'll update my answer. If the new answer is bigger, else I'll assign this answer as the first answer, and I'll keep doing this.
Okay, so
Uh,
let's take an example on line number 11, the prefix sum you have. If you need to find 12, right? How would you do that?
sure. So what I'm doing is, firstly I want to I'll convert the original array into prefix sum. So my
Mm-hmm.
prefix sum has been created. Now I want to create a map. So the map will look something like map of prefix sum is equal to index.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So map of 1 is index 0, map of 3 is index 1, but then I get a 3 again. And I know that 3 is already in the map. So I'll just ignore this. Then I'll come to map of 6, that is 3. So what I'm also what I'm doing is, when I come to 1, I'll just see that whether 1 minus, like before inserting this into the map, I'll just check whether 1 minus target, that is equals to 1 minus 12, that is minus 11, whether minus 11 is already in my map or not. And if it is already in the map, I know that I have a possible answer. But since
Okay.
minus 11 is not in the map till now, I don't have an answer now. So yeah, I'll push this into my map. So map of 1 becomes 0, and I move to next index. So now I am at index 1, that is value is equals to 2. So now value is equals to 2. Now I want to check whether 2 minus target, that is 2 minus 10, that
Mm-hmm.
is 2 minus 12, that is minus 10, whether minus 10 is already in my map or not. And since minus 10 is not in my map, I know that I don't have an answer yet. So I'll just push this into my map. And so the prefix sum here is 3, sorry. Value here is 3. So this
Okay.
is 3 target, this is minus 9. Yeah. So yeah, minus 9 is not in my map. So I'll just push this in my map. So map of 3 becomes 1. And then I again come to a 3. So I'll just check whether 3 minus, again, I'll check the same thing, 3 minus 12, whether this is equals to minus 9, whether this is in my map or not. So since this is not in my map, so I don't have an answer yet. And I'll again check that whether 3 is already in the map or not. So since it's already in the map, I don't update my answer. And
Mm-hmm.
I'll move next. Now I
Okay,
come
I
to,
think I got what you're trying to do here. So, what is the time and space complexity of this approach?
so the first thing what I'm doing is I'm converting the original array. Like, am I allowed to edit this original array, or should I create a new array?
You should not modify the original array.
Okay. So the thing is, I want to create a prefix sum. So the
Mm-hmm.
prefix sum takes a time of n and the space of n.
Okay.
Like both time and space of creating this prefix sum will be big O of n.
Mm-hmm.
And then like when this has been converted, like I'll again traverse this array to create the map and to check my answer. So that will again be O of n. So like in the worst case, the time and space complexity both are O of n. Like even in the average case and the best case, it will be O of n.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. Do you think if there is a better approach than this, can you think about
So
something
like
else?
uh, time complexity should be at least O of n, because I
Mm-hmm.
have to traverse through this at least once.
Okay.
Like
Okay.
without traversing through all the elements, I cannot say that yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I'll get this answer. So the
Okay.
time will be at least O of n. And I'm just thinking if I can somehow do this in less space. Uh, but like I uh, I I don't think like if this is possible in some better space.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Okay. Do you really have to maintain prefix in a separate array? Do you think you could just use hash map there?
Okay, yeah, even the prefix is not required, because like
Mm-hmm.
when I'm traversing, I can just compute the prefix sum. Like I don't need a separate array for that.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can
Okay.
compute the sum till now.
Right.
So in that case, I don't need to maintain the prefix sum array. But
Mm-hmm.
like that won't affect the overall space complexity, because the map, like the size of the map, in worst case that will be like O of n.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't impact in terms of big O, but
It won't
if you
affect,
think
yeah, yeah,
about
but
in
yeah,
practice, it's
I'll save
double the
some
size,
space.
right?
Yeah, I'll save some space here. Like I'm
Mm-hmm.
not creating the prefix sum array. But that
Okay.
can be done
Okay.
just by computing the sum till now. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'll use a single variable for that.
Okay. 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 So I think I'm good with this approach. Can you code this?
Sure. So I'll be using C++.
All
So
right.
should I change the language, or should I code it here only?
That's fine. It's already C++, is it?
No, it's plain text. Like
Oh, okay. Yeah. 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 You
if you
please
want to
change it.
compile it, we
That's
won't
fine.
work. Uh,
Yeah.
so
That's fine. I don't think
I
we are
want to
not going
return,
to
I
compile.
want like, okay. So my return type is an array. So
Mm-hmm.
vector of int, this is my return type. And let's say my function name is find largest
Mm-hmm.
sub array, and the input will again be an array, and I don't want to modify this. So this is my function. Okay, so I have to create a map, and this is an unordered map. I don't want this to be an ordered one.
Mm-hmm.
I'll name this map something like scene. So I've created my
Okay.
map, and there will be another variable in some till now, which is initialized to 0. So I'm just wondering whether to push this 0 in my map or not,
Mm-hmm.
because let's say that my input was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So initially sum till now is 0, but what if I wanted to achieve a target of 1?
Mm-hmm.
So like if my target was 1, so once I see the first element, I should say that yes, I have an answer and I should update my answer.
But what if there is a zero after one, right? So that becomes the longest,
So
largest
yeah,
subarray, right?
I'll update that later on. But
Mm-hmm. Okay.
um, so I think that I should be pushing a 0 into the map.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so let's say that int answer left is equals to -1 and answer right is equals to -1. So this is the like or let's say that answer length is equals to 0. So this is the length of my longest subarray till now, and I'm just wondering how to take care of how to handle the edge case where the
Mm-hmm.
first one is my answer. So if somehow I can I can, before starting this array, if I can mark scene of 0 is equals to -1, so what
Mm-hmm.
happens then? So my current sum initially was 0, then I see the first element, and my current sum will become equals to 0 plus 1, that is previous current sum plus 1, so that will be 1. And now I want to check whether 1 minus target, that is equals to 1 minus 1, that is 0, whether this 0 is present in my scene array or not. So yes, 0 is present in my scene array. So so my like current answer will be equals to the current index minus scene of 0, that is current index is 0 and scene of 0 is -1. So this becomes 1. So the length of current answer is 1, and I'll
Mm-hmm.
check that whether this current answer is, if this current answer is greater than the answer length, then I'll
Okay.
update my answer length. So yeah, so I should be like, before I start anything, I should be initializing my scene array with scene of 0 equals to -1, so that I don't miss the first element. And now I'll start my loop. Uh, array dot size for int I equals 0, I is less than n, I plus plus, int sum till now equals to array of I. So this is the sum till now, and then I
Mm-hmm.
want to check whether I have a better answer or not, like whether uh, int to find is equals to sum till now, and there will also be a int target minus target. So this is the value which I want to find in my map.
Mm-hmm.
So if map uh, if scene don't count to find, so if it is already in my map, in that case int current length will be the current index, that is I, minus scene of to find. So it will be something like this, and I'll also update my answer, else I'll do something else. Okay, if I have a current length, I also want to check whether the answer is, yeah, I also want to maintain the int answer left is equals to -1, int answer right equals to -1. Yeah. So if current length is greater than answer length, like I'm not using the equal sign here because you said that I
Mhm.
should be returning the first longest array which I find.
Correct.
So
Yeah,
that's
that
why
is
I'm not
fine.
using the equal sign here. So if my current answer is greater than the global answer length which I have already seen, then answer length will become current length, and answer left will become seen of to find uh, +1. Just a minute. So okay, so if it is the first element, I'll just think about this later on. Let me just complete the
Mhm.
code, and answer right
Sure.
will become I'm not sure about how this works here. Check this. I'll just check this later on. Okay. Else if the scene is not, like if scene of count was not present, else scene of sorry, if scene dot count of the sum till now equals 0, that is the current, like sum till now is not in the map already. So in that case, scene of sum till now will become I, and like after I come off this while loop,
Mm-hmm.
I'll have some answer. So I'll just traverse from that answer, like I will traverse from answer left to answer right, and push all the elements in a new vector and return that vector. So I'm just wondering how this works. Like let's just see when the target is 12. Let's just try to run this when the target is 12. So yeah, my first element, like sum till now was 0, answer length was 0, answer left and answer right both were -1, and scene of 0 is equals to -1. And I'll also need to take care of the case when, like if I don't find any answer, like there is a possibility that none of the sub array sum was equal to the target. In that case, I should be returning an empty array. Okay, so my, like I'll move inside this for loop, and before moving inside this for loops, I know that scene of 0 is equals to -1, and I'll encounter the first element. I'll push, like I'll update my sum till now. So sum till now becomes 1, and I want to find 1 minus 12, that is -11. But -11 is not in my, like this if condition will not be satisfied,
Mm-hmm.
but this if condition will be satisfied, and scene of sum till now becomes I. So my scene is something like for 0 it is mapped to -1. uh, for 0 it is mapped to -1, for 1 it is mapped to 0, and then I'll move forward. So now the sum till now will become 1 plus 2, that is 3, and I want to find 3 minus 12 minus 9, but this if condition will not be true. Then I'll move to
Mm-hmm.
if this if condition, and this if condition will be true. So sum of 3, that will become 1, and then I'll again move into this for loop. Now my sum till now will become 3 plus 3, that is 6, and I want to find 6 minus 12 minus 6, but -6 is not in my scene map. So I'll move into this if loop, and this will be true. So it will become 6 will map to index 2, and then after this will become 10, and again this if condition is not true. So 10 will map to uh, 3, and then this 10 will become 15, and then I want to find 15 minus 12 3, and this 3 is already in my map. So now this if condition is true, and my current length become the index, like current index. So the current index is 4 minus scene of 3, that is 4 minus the scene of 3 is 1, so this becomes 3. So the current length becomes 3 and current length is greater than answer. So I'll update my answer. So answer of left should become scene of to find. So scene of to find is 1. Answer left becomes 1 and answer right becomes 4. So from index 1 to index 4, that is 1, 2, 3, 4. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. So this is plus 1.
This.
So answer left is from index 2 to index 4. That is from 3, 4, 5, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, now this is working. And answer right becomes 4. And yeah, I think now it is working. So let's just see if my sum was 1. So if the sum was 1,
Okay,
I know
one
that
second, one second
my
before
scene
we
of
move.
0 is -1 and I encounter the first element. So sum
Pratham,
till
one
now will
second.
become 1
Hello.
and I want to find 1 minus 1, that is 0. So 0 is in this scene map. So my current length will become the current index, that is index 0 minus the scene of 0 is -1. So this will become 1. So current length is 1, that is greater than the previous length. So my answer length becomes 1. Answer left becomes scene of 2 find plus 1, that is -1 plus 1. This will become 0. And answer right is also 0. So both left and right is 0. So after I come off this for loop, so I'll run a loop for like uh, for int I is equals to answer left, I is less than equals to answer right, I plus plus. I'll push all of them in my new vector answer dot push back uh, array of I, and I want to declare a new vector and answer, and then I'll return my answer. And in if like if there is a case when I don't have an answer, so I know that my answer left and answer right won't be updated. So answer
Mhm.
left will be -1 and answer right will be -1. Okay, if answer left equals -1, I'll straight away return answer. Yeah, this is my algorithm. I guess this should work.
How would it work if there are
You
zeros?
want
So
me
for
to go through this
example,
again?
hello, you able to hear me?
Is she disconnected?
Uh, Zeros in the array. So let's say after one there are some couple of zeros. How would this approach work then? So
So
okay,
yeah,
in this, if you are taking this example, let's say after 3 there are couple of zeros.
okay. So let's just see that. So after 3 there was couple of zeros. So what happens is like the prefix sum for this 3 will be 6. So I'll just write the prefix sum. So this becomes 1, this becomes
Hmm.
3, this becomes 6. It is 6 for this 0 also, it is 6 for this 0 also, and then it gets updated. So what is happening is whenever I am encountering this 6, I'll see whether 6 minus my target value, whether it is in my scene array or not. So it is not in the scene array. So I'll see, then I want to push push this into my scene array, but I see that the sum till now is already in my scene array, so I don't push
Hmm.
this. So for this 0, I don't update my scene array. So
Hmm.
what happens is scene of 6 is still index 2. Even though I am at index 3 and the sum till now is 6, I don't update this. And again for this 0, the sum till now it's 6, but I don't update this. So that at a later stage, if I want to find something like the current sum minus target, if this is equals to 6, then I'll get this index now first. So that will give me the longest array.
Hmm. Okay. And what if there are zeros on the right side of it? So for example, after 3, 4, and 5. So after 5, there are maybe one
So
zero. After 5.
after 5 there is another a 0. So what
Yeah.
happens is like the sum till now was uh, so like even for this the sum till now will be equal to what the sum till now was for this 5,
Hmm.
because the sum is not increased. And now I want to I want to find the target, and I'll get a target value and I'll update this. Like even this is working for this case also. So what
Hmm.
happens is so the sum till now for index 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So index 4 is equals to 3, 3, 6, 10, 15. So this is 15 for index 4. That is when the value was equals to 5. So when the value was 5, the sum till now was 15. And I see if 15 minus 12, that is 3, if this is in my scene array or not. So it is in the scene array. So I'll update my answer and push this 12 in my scene. And then when I move to index 5, that is the current value is 0. The sum till now is still, so the sum till now is still 15. And I again check this condition, like whether 15 minus 12, which is 3, if this is in my scene array or not. So this is in my scene array. So I'll again find the current length, and this time the current length will be greater than the previous current length, and I'll update my answer. So my new array of right will become the current index.
Yeah, so you are updating the index as well to the
I'm
latest
updating
one.
the index every time. If I get a better answer, I'll update the index. And after everything has been done, I know that if the array of like answer left is still -1, that is I did not find any answer. In that case, I want to return an empty array, so I'll returning an empty array. Else I'll push all the elements from array left to array right into this into this answer array, and I'll return this.
Okay, so what kind of test cases would you run against this to check if it is working correctly?
So like one of the thing will be to check if the first element, like if the first element is equal to the target element, in that case what is it returning, something like that. So like in this case,
Mm-hmm.
I guess I made a semicolon error. It is taking me to wrong place every time. Okay, so one of the test case will be the input is this and the sum is 1. So where the first element is 1, I want to check whether it is taking this or not. So I guess my code is handling that. So
And by the way,
another,
this is not a sorted array, so does that
yeah,
change anything?
it doesn't matter. Like
Okay.
it is not a sorted array because like I am also like I'm making use of a hash map for this, and I'm just
Right.
separating the target value and finding that. So like it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't help me if it is sorted or not.
Okay.
Uh, so the one of the other test case will be like having multiple zeros between two index, like which you said just now. Like
Mm-hmm.
what if the 0 was between 3 and 5, and what if the zeros are after 5? So like just after 5, if there are multiple zeros, so what is the answer? So my code is handling that. So I also need to take care of the negative numbers, and like so like there is no special case for negative number, it will be handled like in the same way. So one of the another test case will be, let's say, 1 and -1, and the target value was 0.
Mm-hmm.
So like it is working for this also, because my scene has been initialized to scene of 0 is equals to -1. So when my current sum is 1, then I cannot find like 1 minus 0, that is 1 is not in my scene array. Then when the current sum is 0, I can see that 0 is already in my scene array. So I'll update my answer. So the answer will be of length 2. Uh, so this is working. I guess I am handling all the cases. Do you think
Okay.
about something which I should take care of?
Like, if you look at the code, do you see any problems with it?
Uh, okay, I'm
Think
updating
about
something.
some edge cases, some maybe small numbers, large numbers.
Uh,
Is there a
yes,
problem
so
with this?
there is a possibility that sum till now becomes out of the range of int.
Mm-hmm.
So, and why am I initializing this every time? So this should be like long, because this might get out of range. Okay.
Can you do something else apart from making it a long? Can you have some other approach to handle
Okay,
it?
not making this long. Okay. So what happens if my sum till now goes out of the range of integer? So how do I handle that? Uh,
can you maybe perform some subtraction, some other operation to
So
have
like
it in?
might be something like two pointers approach, like what you are saying is a two pointer
Mm,
approach.
not really.
Okay.
That's okay. That's okay. I think it's not a big thing. So you will make it long to handle the
Yeah, I'll make this long.
overflows. Okay. Okay. That's fine. I think.
Uh,
Okay. I don't have any other questions. Martin, you want to stop recording or?
So maybe we can actually we can run the use cases, like the tool can run you can call the function. So maybe we can test some examples and see.
Sure. Yeah. That would be good.
so before running, I guess I made semicolon error because whenever I am entering the enter,
Yeah.
this
And you were defining that sum till
and
now inside the loop as well. Now, okay, it's removed now. Yeah.
I've removed that, and this is fine.
And to
Line
find
50, there is again opening bracket.
Line
50.
50. Yeah.
let me just run if it is compiling correctly. Uh, Vector is not declared. Okay. Map is also not declared. Sorry. Okay, yeah. So I need to call the function now.
Yeah. And put in some test cases there. Yeah, you need to put it above this.
Yeah, this is working for this case. Let's say that there is was a zero after this three. Okay, it is still working. Let's say that there was a zero after this five. So now the
Hmm.
longest will become 30450.
Yeah, and maybe another zero on the left side as well.
Let me just try
Left
for
of
this.
three. Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, now this is working. And let's say another zero on the left. So it should be 030450. All of them are working. Let me just try for something different. Uh,
Hmm.
what if there
Some
was
negatives.
a one and then a minus one
Yeah, some negative numbers.
in between them?
Or maybe you could have some large numbers or
Yes, it is still working.
very small numbers.
So what did you say? Can you repeat?
You could have some large numbers, some very large numbers, or some very small
So that
numbers.
the current sum becomes out of this bound, like int.
Yeah, but you changed it too long, right?
Yeah, like it will work still. I'm just
Hmm.
thinking of some like what happens if the target is one. I just want to check this.
Sure, sure.
So I
Yeah,
this it just should return 0 1. Yeah, it is returning 0 1. But what if I remove this? So now it is returning one. Yes, it is working fine.
but yeah, okay. Yeah, I think it's fine. Yeah.
Like, can you just like I didn't get what you were saying earlier. Like, what kind
So
of
you
testing?
can put some large numbers, smaller numbers to see how it is behaving when there is an overflow, right? Integer. I can give you the number 1 second.
Something like this.
Yeah, or maybe the
Mm.
max value itself. Maybe I'll
Yeah.
just ping on interviewing. Okay. Let's say something like this.
Yeah.
So maybe put some more numbers along with that, and then have some sum. Maybe put -1, 2, 3, and let's say you want to get a sum of 4, and then put this number.
This.
Yep.
Okay. So what should be? I want to get a sum of 4.
Yep.
Yeah, it is working. What if I want to get a sum of this only?
Yep. Or you can have another large or smaller numbers, and maybe a negative of this, right? And then see if you can get a sum of 0.
Okay. One thing which I was thinking is,
Hmm.
like in my map, uh, like this should be long int.
Okay. Why do you think that?
Uh, because like whatever, like I am pushing, like I am updating it for the current sum till now, and the current sum till now can be something very like larger than the int value, such that I can encounter a negative number later on, and that will
Hmm.
like the current sum later on become something less than int
Hmm.
value. That's why. uh,
But how
yes,
did
it is.
it work in the other case? Let's before when you before putting the negative number, right? It was as per your approach. It was still adding this
No,
large number and
like
plus.
I didn't take
You
some
didn't go
any
there, right?
example.
So you
Yeah,
have
I
to
didn't
put
take some
on the right
example.
side.
So
Exactly.
I
Yeah.
I can take some example where the current sum till now becomes greater than
It
greater
would
than
have
the
thrown the exception then.
like
Yeah. Okay.
it might throw, like it is not necessary, but it might throw in some of the cases.
Yeah. I mean,
Uh,
if you're adding to that number, let's say 10, it should throw.
yeah. So I was
Yeah.
still
Okay.
thinking like how I would do this if I was not allowed the long thing, just by using it. But the thing is, like I don't know what numbers are ahead of this. So if I subtract any number from this, I might get the wrong answer. I'm not able to think how this will work. Uh,
Mhm.
So
That's
like,
okay. I think we are uh, over time. Martin, what do we want to do next?
Yeah, so basically we're now in the feedback part of the interview. So the first part is actually asking Ratan, how do you feel? How do you think you did? What do you think you could have done better, or what,
Yeah.
So that would be first, and then we'll move to feedback from you, Nisha.
Sure. Yeah.
uh,
Sure, Pratham. So I think you can go ahead first. What do you think you did well? What do you think you could
what
improve on?
I was thinking something like there will be two questions. So like just for solving this question, I think I was a bit slow. I don't really know if I was really slow, but like what I think is I was a little slow while implementing, and I still don't know why I was not able to figure out how to do this without using this long, because there might be a constraint of like I know that the numbers are only the int value, and the like interviewer might say me that you are not allowed to use the long. So I need to work on this, like why I was not able to figure this out. uh, and
That's okay. I think what I believe is, even I'm not 100% sure on that, but you can subtract that and then keep it in some other either hash map or a variable, something, depending upon how many such numbers we could have.
okay,
So it will not be like a straightforward approach.
okay,
So using long is easier and like recommended. I just want to know your thoughts. That's why I asked it. So
okay,
that's not a big thing.
okay. So like the thing is like most of the questions which I do, like if I encounter something like this, I normally use a long value,
Hmm.
but I should not be doing this, I guess, like because there might be a constraint that the numbers can only be. I'll work on this later on. I'll see how this can be solved. Uh, so, do you have any other feedback on this?
Yeah, Martin,
Like,
should I talk about my feedback now or?
Yeah. Go ahead and share your
Yeah,
feedback.
so I think you did good in uh, asking about requirement clarification and all. You could have asked at that time itself, like if it contains a lot of large numbers or smaller numbers, or you did ask if it contains negative numbers, so that was a good thing. You could have asked like if this is sorted or not, but that's not going to change your approach, so that was fine. Okay, so you did good in requirement clarification. You did pretty good in problem solving. You were like clear what you want to do and all that. So that was pretty good. When you were doing coding, I felt you got a little bit confused, right, on how you were approaching it.
Yeah, I was
Uh,
confused. Like once I saw about the like how
Correct,
to take in the first number, like when I have to push 0 before the start of this array, like, I got a bit confused. So I was
correct,
also confused at this point of time. Like,
correct,
should the
correct.
answer of left be equals to sin of 2 find or 2 find plus 1? So
Yeah.
that's why I thought to like take
Yeah,
some example.
yeah, not much, but yeah, little bit. So that maybe you could do a little bit more practice and approve. You were good in running tests, so that was good. And you took hints well, so that was also very good. So I think overall it was pretty good, I would say.
How would you rate my speed? Like, was I quick enough or was I a bit slow?
I think in coding you could be little more quick.
Okay.
I think maybe you spend like 5-7 minutes extra there.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
I think problem
I
requirement
think
clarification, problem solving, you're pretty quick in that. So I think you finished almost like 10 to 12 minutes. You were done with that. So coding took around, I think, 30 plus minutes, and then testing also 10. So you can you can improve in these areas.
okay, sure. Okay, thanks.
Anybody else want to share their feedback and about me as well?
So yeah, I was gonna say maybe the next stage is for people in the group share the feedback, and yeah, for
Sure.
both interviewee or interviewer.
Yeah.
I guess I'll start. Yeah, I think both of you did great. I like Pratham style that yeah, I mean he solved the problem and he was kind of finding his own bugs, and I think that's great. Yeah, like I think like you said a little bit in the maybe a little bit in the requirement clarifications. Some things could have been solved earlier, but he did got to the solution. So I think
Yep.
that's great. And yeah, and for your initial, I think it was a great interview. I think you were guiding him well and kind of like giving hints along the way. So like that's very good. And um, yeah, I think overall interview from both sides is pretty good. Anybody else has feedback for any of them? All right, I'm going to.
Sorry, PS actually unmuted, right? So PS, do you have any feedback?
Not the feedback. I think, I mean, I would just like to say that, I mean, when somebody actually start giving the feedback, so I observed that when Nisha she was giving the feedback, so Pratham actually interrupted her, and I believe that he actually stopped her flow.
Okay, I'm sorry for that. Like,
And that's not sorry. I mean, to get the true feedback, I mean, it's better to not to stop and just listen, take the full feedback. That's
okay,
what I actually observed.
okay,
I think great feedback, PS. Uh, Anybody else with any other recommendations, suggestions, or anything for Pratham to improve or Nisha to improve? So I had a few quick ones before we jump in to this one. So Pratham, how do you think you did on the on your proudest project part of the story? Like, I know we talked about coding, but I also wanted to make sure that we cover the
okay. So
behavioral aspect of it. So how do you think you did there?
the thing was like it was a group project, and there was some aspect of the project which like I didn't knew. So it was like mm, so the thing was like the task which I was assigned, it was based on DBMS, converting like making the tables and will be making the logic how this will work. So like I think I did pretty good job because the feedback I received from my TAs and from my teacher, that was like good, and like our project was also showcased to the class, and like even they liked this. So
Yeah, that is
I
the
think,
content of the work that you did. That is great. But like in this interview, when Nisha asked you about your project, how do you think? Do you think you were able to adequately impress the interviewer about the
no, like I
skills?
think I wasn't able to express myself clearly. Like I wasn't able to explain what the project was about and like what was the work which I did. Because like I wasn't ready for this, something like this, if someone will ask me about my project. Uh, so I
So I
think
think this is like a good, definitely a good wake up call there, right?
yeah.
That part of it was actually very subpar. I mean, I think clearly
Yeah.
you've done a lot of stuff in the project, and it looks like you've gotten some accolades based on that as well. So that's all great, but you are not able to articulate or outline this your success and your contribution and things like that. So if you haven't done so already, take a look at the star format and try to prepare like 2 or 3 situations
Like
in the star
because
format.
actually I was currently preparing for just my internships. Like what I have heard from my like seniors and those who have given internship is like most of the company, they are not concerned about such kind of thing. Like they don't take a behavioral round. Like even the Google, like they'll only stick to the data structure algorithms. So I haven't yet prepared for this, like how to tackle such kind of question, like how to express myself clearly. But I'll definitely like look into this once. Uh,
And
It's
just
just
to,
an, yeah. And, 1 minute, Nisha, just on this. Like
sure, sure.
it's just an elevator pitch kind of a conversation. They wouldn't do a deep dive or a probe, but it is enough to make an interview go bad. Like in the sense that if the interviewer starts with a very simple, so tell me what was the best thing you've done so far, and then you stumble and fumble, then like after that you do reasonably okay. You don't do a very good job of your coding, then that might result in a negative result. If I mean, your first 1 or 2 minutes of conversation there could make or break if your performance is like somewhere in the borderline. So uh, I would just take that like an hour or so, just write down your stories, just be clear about who did what, how, and what was the impact that you had. Just write it down, because that is something that fairly certain almost all places, all interviews have one angle of it. It's not like they will spend like an entire hour on it, but they will probably spend maybe like 5 minutes or 2 minutes or something like that on it. So it's just worth doing that.
okay, sure.
Does that make sense, Pratham?
Okay, sure.
Go ahead, Nisha. Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt you.
No, no, I was just saying the same thing. Like when you talked about the project, it was like I kind of felt it was a normal, like a very naive kind of college project. So it did not feel, I could not even fill my star format. I didn't feel like it was anything good that you did there. So
Okay, sure. I'll definitely work on that, like how to express myself
yeah, because
clearly.
in my experience, some interviewers would ask that, okay, tell me, about your project that you have done or something like that. Again,
Okay,
depending upon interviewer, they might go in depth if they find it interesting. So it'll not be like you'll be asked it in all the rounds, or maybe one or two they might ask.
okay, sure.
Yeah. Sorry, Vivek, yeah, please.
Oh yeah, no, no worries. So now on the next one is on the coding round specifically. I think Nisha did a fantastic job of like outlining the question. The question was pre-prepared with examples. I think it was reasonably clear. From a candidate standpoint, I think while I agree with your feedback, Nisha, that he asked for negative numbers and things like that, I don't think it was done like in sequence, in the sense that like requirement gathering was not the first thing. There was problem solving already happening. And as Pratham, you were solving the problem, you figured out like, hey, what do I do with negative numbers? Are there negative numbers? Is when you asked, like as you were solving the problem, not when
Yeah.
you were like not as a part of the requirement gathering. So in general, it's very hard to do, but what I would recommend people doing is take a few minutes, just like, restate the problem, validate the input. Like, did you ask any questions about like, is there any constraints on the dimension of the array? Is the array pre-sorted? Not that it makes a difference, but the type of value, data structures that's in it, the expected output. I don't know whether that was discussed. Like I missed a few minutes of the call in between. So I'm assuming that you guys discussed what the return value should be, vector of int, right? So
Yeah.
So that those things, right? So those things are the first things that happen in the first 5 minutes of the call, 5 minutes of the requirements gathering, and that's about it. So diligently do that. I think you got all the pieces of requirements. So I think from a check mark standpoint, you probably got a good grade there because you asked most of the questions. But since you didn't ask it up front, you run the risk of running a wrong algorithm or writing something completely incorrect. If the question were to be something, sometimes the crux of it is negative numbers will make a huge difference in your algorithm. Like in your case, it didn't. So you got a little lucky there. So that's on the requirement gathering part of it. Your problem solving was fantastic. I think you just got right to the crux of it. You ended up using a non-required prefix sum, but that was more like you didn't need it. And I think Nisha called you out on that. You were very quick to assess. I particularly liked how your big O analysis was, both in terms of space and time. Specifically on the time, I liked how you were pretty solid with it, saying like, dude, you got to look at all the numbers at least once. So O of n is like the minimum I can do. So that shows the amount of confidence you have in the algorithmic correctness of yours. So that was like brilliant. I mean, I would put like a +1 on or a plus on your big O confidence level and comfort. And how you talked about like, the using the prefix array doesn't really change the big O of space much because it's still O of n. I mean, it's a little tighter using just the hash map instead of the array in addition to the array. So that was fantastic. So you did a very good job there. I think that just reflects on your confidence and your preparation. So that was good. The problem solving was, I think, was fantastic. I think you have it covered. The coding part of it, I'm not sure if I'm going to call it slow. I think this code is relatively complex. I mean, there's a lot of conditions and checks and things like that you have to do. So I think you were reasonably appropriate. I don't think you could have gone faster than this. I mean, it's, yes, you might have here and there, but not really. But things I'd like to call out is you were very good with your variable namings. And these were descriptive. You didn't say I, J, K, L, but you were actually, you're using an unordered map of scene. You're using like answer left, answer right. So it was actually very intuitive in terms of how you had done it. So that's also like very good job there as well. The last bucket that I always look for is testing. And I think you did phenomenally well with testing. The only thing which I'm trying to recollect whether you did it well or not, I think you did it, is around, are you testing your algorithm as you go, as opposed to like just testing in the end alone? And I think you did. You were going through the process, like as you were writing code, you were writing a small snippet of code, you were testing that snippet separately. So I think you have that part of it well as well. So to me, that tells me that you are used to programming. It's not just, it's not that you've just started, you picked up programming on a theoretical basis and you're already like, on the expertise on a programming level, you are better than like a moderate towards an expert in terms of your ability to translate an algorithm to code. So that's also has been fantastic. I think overall it was a above average, like well above average performance in terms of how it went. I think the one thing that you should do on your test case enumeration is subpar. Make sure that anytime you're doing an integer array or things like that, just making sure that you're testing with like null array, empty array, large numbers, integer overflow, large negative numbers. I mean, these are all like common test cases that you need to add. The fact that Nisha had to ask you specifically saying like, what about big numbers and small numbers, is when you said like, hey, yeah, I can do integer overflow, right? I really wish you had caught that yourself, and that would have made this interview a lot more perfecter than what it was before. So yeah, those are different parts of my feedback. Thank you.
Thanks for the feedback. I'll definitely like take something from there.
Yeah, thanks, Vivek. I think null I also missed.
But like I already made a check here, like if this answer is never updated.
No, if the input array itself
Okay,
is
the
null.
input, like, but you
Yeah.
said that I asked you earlier also, like whether this can be learned or not, and you said that.
Oh, okay. I didn't. Yeah, then it's fine. I don't remember it. That's okay.
Okay, thanks. Thanks for this.
Anyone else wants to speak? Or otherwise, Martin, I think we are done.
Okay. Thank you. I will, let me pause the recording.